The gap between the rich and the poor does not decrease. Students have the option to live in college residences or apartments. We have 3 distinctive libraries which are nationally acclaimed. Parking permits can be collected through the Student Service Office. Please don't forget to check your email for the updates of the week. Tuesday sessions will last for approximately 2 hours. We should focus on innovation, and if we don't, we are bound to lose out. Many industries have moved to the countryside where manufacturing costs are lower. Everyone should get access to art galleries no matter where they live.
I marvelled at how often powerful feel powerless. But in the face of this sense of disempowerment, there's no decline in involvement in organisations which seek to share wealth and opportunities, which seek to protect one another's rights and work towards the common good. According to the UN, civil society groups have grown 40-fold since the turn of last century. Internationally, the non-profit sector is worth $1 trillion. There are 700,000 not-for-profit organisations in Australia alone. 700,000. The UN recognises 37,000 specifically civil society organisations across the globe working in international relief and gives accreditation to many of them. This profound movement towards harnessing voices and resources from outside the realm of governments and officialdom reflects a growth in trust. The third sector, NGOs. Putnam, who discovered in the field of local government in Italy, the best predictor of governmental success was the strength and density of a region's civic associations.
I believe our borders should be open, but if that is not politically acceptable for now, Europe should at least open up a legal route for people from developing countries to come work here. Over time, hopefully, we can move to a position where borders are completely open. Persuading skeptics won't be easy. That's why I think the argument for free migration has to be made at several levels. A principle case: it increases freedom and reduces injustice. A humanitarian case: it helps people much poorer than ourselves. An economic case: it makes us richer. And a pragmatic case: it is inevitable. So it is in everyone's interest to make the best of it. Freedom of movement is not just a matter of human rights and international solidarity. It is in our self-interest. Opening our borders may seem unrealistic, but so too once did abolishing slavery or giving women the vote. Campaigning for people's right to move freely is a noble cause for our time.
Innovation equals invention. And let me just stop here. Innovation equals invention. Often people mistake these two things for the same thing. Innovation equals invention. They are not. Innovation is something that generates value for the world. It makes something faster, better, cheaper. It gives someone some great satisfaction. An invention is an idea, a technology, a patent. In and of itself, it does not generate value. So these two are not the same thing. And sometimes you see them interchanged, and that's not correct. So innovation equals invention times commercialization. So when we look at this equation of innovation, something of value, it requires a new idea, and then it requires someone or some organization that is going to commercialize that idea and to make it of value to the world.
What I decided to provide is the steps that I take when analysing my own questionnaires. However, before I begin, it would be useful to remind you of a few terms we use when talking about questionnaires. Questions can be divided into three types. This is sometimes called level of measurement. Firstly, we have category type questions, which are also known as nominal questions. These are when participants select from a list of categories for their response, such as male or female, or they may include ethnic origin. Secondly, we have ordinal type questions. These are similar to category questions, but instead of the categories being independent, there is some sort of order between them. If we ask people to indicate their age in categories, this is an ordinal type question. Thirdly, we have continuous questions. These are any question that can be answered by a number. It could be an open-ended question asking participants to tell you how many times they attended lectures or how often they used a VLE. Or it could involve asking them to rate the importance or intensity of some experience. The reasons I reminded you of these types of questions is that our choice of question dictates the types of analysis we can use. Therefore, it is important to get our questionnaires correct in the first place.
What do we call a person who buys things in a shop? What instrument would you use when you want to weigh something up?
What is the star that gives heat and light to the Earth? What is the main building of a large company or an organization? What do we call a section or a part of a book? What is the subject to study the past events? What part of a plant has petals? What do we call a person who can speak several languages? What do you call your nephew's dad? What category do crystals, rubies, and diamonds belong to? Many people believe that employers discriminate against older people because youths have more energy and creativity. This is not true. The main reason for hiring younger workers is payroll. In most countries, your salary is dependent on how many years of work experience you have. It is far more cost-efficient to hire postgraduates, fresh out of university, than senior staff with over 20 years of industry knowledge. Much of what people do today disguises a desperate search for meaning, the result of the crisis of belief that has become a major problem of the Western world. On the one hand, the elites and their high culture suffer a loss of confidence, and aimless consumerism is widespread. On the other, powerful new myths arise, as with sporting heroes. So, as much as this is a book about the experience of traveling, the contemplation of cities that are vast in scale and villages that are as remote and strange as anything Westerners are ever likely to encounter. It is also a book that tries to describe another kind of journey. Most words have experienced several changes in meaning throughout their history, so that it is impossible to say which stage in their meaning is the true meaning. And if we attempt to go back to the beginning, we find it is impossible, for the origins of many words are difficult to trace back. Just about everyone on the planet wears at least one article of clothing made from cotton at some point during the day, inevitably. Byproducts of the plant show up as well in something that person is doing. The source of cotton's power is its nearly terrifying versatility and the durable creature comforts it provides. When buying a house, for example, it's best to let our unconscious mull over the many variables. But when we're picking stocks and shares, intuition often leads us astray. The trick is to determine when to lean on which part of the brain. And to do this, we need to think harder and smarter about how we think. The gap between the rich and the poor does not decrease. Students have the option to live in college residences or apartments. We have 3 distinctive libraries which are nationally acclaimed. Parking permits can be collected through the Student Service Office. Please don't forget to check your email for the updates of the week. Tuesday sessions will last for approximately 2 hours. We should focus on innovation, and if we don't, we are bound to lose out. Many industries have moved to the countryside where manufacturing costs are lower. Everyone should get access to art galleries no matter where they live.
What do we call a person who buy things in a shop? Answer: customer/buyer. What instrument would you use when you want to weigh something up? Answer: scale.
What is the star that gives heat and light to the earth? Answer: sun. What is the main building of a large company or an organization? Answer: headquarters. What do we call a section or a part of a book? Answer: chapter. What is the subject to study the past events? Answer: history. What part of a plant has petals? Answer: flower. What do we call a person who can speak several languages? Answer: multilingual. What do you call your nephew's dad? Answer: brother. What category do crystals, rubies, and diamonds belong to?